Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me. I want to do another video on searching on familysearch.org. We did a video already on how to do a standard record search, and you go back and watch that if you want to see how to do a standard record search, just like a search you would do on any of the genealogy websites. But you can do standard searches on Family Search as well. But today I'm going to show you how to do a different type of search. And we're going to use the same couple that we used in the standard search, Vio Bartholomew. She was born in 1893. I haven't done this part of the tree for quite a while, so I haven't been able to locate a date of death or a death certificate yet, but I'll get back to her now that I'm looking at her for this video. And then she married George Hebron, and see the dates. He was alive then, and you can see her parents, Artemis Bartholomew and Cora Edith Fellows. So we're going to use these two as our search criteria. So we're going to go to familysearch.org, and as I said in the other video, this is the website that I use to do most of my searching. People ask if you can search, do your ancestry research for free. And you can, and one of the best places to do it is on Family Search. Now they will ask you to sign up for an account. Doesn't cost anything, and they don't bombard you with emails asking you to pay more, to do more, to sign up for more. So it's a really good site to do research for. And we come to the familysearch.org website. We click on the search button. And the last time we did a search for just records, this is a standard record search. This time we're going to scroll down, we're going to do a family tree search. And you'll go to a very similar screen as you did for the regular one. We're going to type in the information we know, Vio Bartholomew. It's already in there because I searched for her last time, Michigan, in 1893. And this time I'm going to click on the More Options button because I do want to enter her spouse, George Hebron. And we're going to click Search. And what this is going to do is take you to a results page. Instead of records, it's going to take you to a person results page. So you can see that the first result, or first return for our search, is Vio Bartholomew. Well, that's the name that we want. The date, well, this has a death date. We'll look and see if we can nail that down. 1893 is what I had in Michigan, yes. On our record search, we saw the marriage certificate, or the marriage license, so that's the date that matched there. And here's her husband's name, George Melnott Hebron. And her parents, those match up. This seems to be the correct person. If you look at some of the other people, information is different. This is the person that I think we're interested in. So if I click on her name, then you'll get a little pop-up, and you'll see her name again. And this is the record number, or the person number in the Family Search worldwide family tree. So you can always use that to find them as well. Birth and death dates. And then down here you have several things. If you want to be notified if any changes are made to the person's records here, you can click on that to follow it. If you'd like to view the relationship between people, you can do that. If you want to see her tree and just go right to the person, we're going to click on a different thing here. We're going to click on sources. And when I click on sources, it takes me to the sources page. Now these are, as opposed to the records search where you just got a list of records that Family Search thought were appropriate returns for your entry for your person you're searching for. But this is one that people have already gone through, and to their satisfaction at least, these records are applicable to the person that we're talking about here, Vio Bartholomew. So that's important. You don't have to worry as much about filtering out a lot of people. Now, I'll stress once again, I recommend you use caution, just assuming that everything is automatically correct. I mentioned this in a previous video that if you have see a family tree and it lists the person you're looking for and their spouse, and then it lists 10 children, I wouldn't automatically add those 10 children. I'd want to find a record that lists those 10 children, whether it's census records or birth records, some sort of record that lists those children, just to show that that is correct. There's too much information out there that somebody just thinks that is correct, adds it to their family tree. Other people copy it onto their family tree because they saw it in someone else's, and then it just gets spread around, and there's a lot of false information. So just be careful. I always add things based upon records, and I always try and get at least two corroborating pieces of information before I'll add something. But let's see what other people have entered. And you'll notice sometimes they've entered things that are exactly the same. For example, here's 2 Indiana marriages. Now, perhaps it's different pages of the Indiana marriage record. We'll look at that and see. Here's another record the same, added by the same person on the same date. So we'll see exactly what those are. More census records. This is her listed on the record for this Gertrude Edith Hebron, probably maybe a child. But she is listed on that record in some capacity. So we'll look at some of these records and just kind of see what else we can see on this website. Once again, I said these are records that people have already gone through and have, at least to their satisfaction, determined that they are appropriate records to add. So that gives you a little higher level of confidence that you won't be looking at a bunch of records that don't apply to the person you're looking for. So let's look at the first one, Michigan births and christenings, and just to see what we see. All right, so one thing you'll notice here is this is a particular case where it says this record came from a set of images. You'll need to look through several images to find this record. Browse the film. Depending on where the person lives, let's say they lived in a larger area, maybe a larger city, this could have 1,000 images to scroll through and to try and find the one, or maybe even more, to find the image that you're looking for. So I don't use this often. Let me open it up in a new tab just so we can see what it looks like. So you can see a whole lot of images here that you would have to scroll through. In fact, there are 2,022 images. Now, if you've got the time to scroll through 2,022 images to try and find the person that you're looking for on one of these lines, and of course, obviously, you can zoom in on them just by clicking on them, and you can zoom in. And if you've got the time to scroll through all these and find the person you're looking for, that's great. But I usually don't do that. I'm hopeful that someone else will enter it in another record down here. All right, for example, here's one. Now, this one does have an image with it. So on the side here, you'll get the indexed information that people have taken off of this record and typed it out so it's easier for you to read. But you can also click on it and get actually taken to the page of the record itself. So this is a birth record, and we saw this birth record in the how to find the standard, or in how to do the standard search. And you can see that this one, I think she was the 6th person down. There she is. Record 216, her birth date, name, female, white, Sylvan. And as I said in that one, if you imagine a book laying open, this would be the left-hand page of that book that's open. You can go to the next page or the right-hand page by clicking on this next button over here, and you can see that the record information continues over onto this page. There's their parents' names, where they reside, where they were born, the father's occupation, and the date the record was entered. So those are the record that we looked at on how to do a standard record search. But you can certainly find that same information by doing this type of a search. So here you have another Michigan County births. I think this is the same record as we said in the standard record search. This is the same record, but with both leaves open. Although it's actually, I think, a copy of this record here, because this one has some stamps and some rubber stamps, where this record here was all handwritten. So, but the same information in there. This is her in the household of Arthur Bartholomew, which is her father, in 1900. Um, this one, I'm not sure what. Arba Martin, United States Census 1910. So what I'm thinking is whoever indexed this record really couldn't read the handwriting as it was written, because they have Vi Bartholomew and Arba Martin. Let's look at that just to see that record. And we'll click on it over here. And when it'll open, we'll zoom in on it a little bit. Alright, let's zoom in a little bit more. And we're looking for Bartholomew. Okay, here's Vio Bartholomew. So no, it looks like she was definitely in the household of Arba Martin. I apologize for assuming someone made an indexing error there. And she was right here. She was a servant in that household on the day that the census was taken. Doesn't necessarily mean that she lived in that house, but she was there. Some censuses, the instructions for the census taker were everyone who was present in that house on the day the census was taken. In other censuses, the instructions said people who generally abode there, even if they were not in that house on the day of the census. So we see her, 16 years old, single, Michigan, New York, New York. So this could be a different person. I believe her parents were both born in Michigan, if I remember correctly. So I would have to look at it a little bit more just to see. But you can see she was a servant in a private family. So I'd have to look at that a little closer to see if that's actually her or not. But it's possible, but I wouldn't automatically assume it just because the name was the same. So we have that record, census. Here's the marriage records. We looked at those last time we did the census. Yes, these exact same records we looked at before. You can go to that other video if you'd like to see these closer. I'm not going to take time to open them all up today, but this was the list of questions for the marriage license that asked whether they were insane, or asked whether they were on drugs, or a lot of questions like that. Parents' names, where they lived, where they were born, occupations, things like that. One for her, one for him. And they were both in that same record, just on different pages. So I think that's what all of these are. I thought there were only 2 pages. Let me see what this one looks like. Okay, that's the same format as the other ones. So that one, and this one I've already looked at. So well, this one's different, so I haven't seen this one. We didn't see this one when we did the standard record search. So let's open this up and see what it is. Alright, so this is an unofficial record, apparently, of some sort. Alright, so that's not the people we're looking for. That's not the people we're looking for. Scroll down. Alright, so here's George. Okay, so this is who the ones we're looking for. Be removed the 26th of December. Issued a marriage license. State of Indiana. Okay. We are authorized to join them together. So this is the license for them to get married. And then down here it actually would say when they were married. This is the person of that county do certify on the 26th day of December 1911 I joined in marriage. So you can see the date they were actually married. So these are good records to have. And so this is not one record that popped up during the standard record search. So you can see doing different searches can give you different records that potentially could have different types of information on them. So always try and look at all of them just to see if you've anything new. So here's the 1920 census. Let's open that up real quick. I don't think we saw that when we did the other search. So let's zoom in a little bit and see if we can find them, the family that... Okay, there she is, George Hebron. Remember, she got married in 1911. This is 1920, so they would have been married 8 years. You can see the ages, 29, although I could see how you could easily put that down as a 4, 26 years old. And a lot of questions, you can see what the questions are at the top of the page. And so some information there. I think the 1920 census didn't ask quite as many questions as some of the previous censuses, but you can get information off this census as well. So you can see that's the 1920 census. That's the 1930 census. We won't open that. You can open that if that applied to your person. And then here she's listed in a record for Gertrude Hebron, death certificate. So this is the death certificate for Gertrude, which I'm assuming is a child. Let's just open it up and see. Okay, so in this one there's no image available, so you wouldn't actually be able to see it, but you'd be able to get the details that someone typed off of the record there from that one. I like to actually see the information. Here listed in an entry for Paul and Jean Hebron, a marriage record. Let's open that one up and see. I'm sure these are children. And she's probably listed as a parent for those children. But this is a good record, once again, to get information for not only the children, but to make sure to confirm a relationship between the children. So you can see where they were married, the two people's names, questions about either one of them. She was a bookkeeper, and you can see mother's maiden name, Vio Bartholomew. So that's good information, and that's once again another piece of information for your family tree that you'd want to add that information in. So you can see that's the marriage record. So this is two different marriage records, perhaps different pages for the same marriage record. Here's the census from 1940. Let's just open that one up. I don't want to skip too many of these records. In 1940, let's see what kind of information we can find out about them in 1940. Let's look at the headers first just to see what some of the questions were. See if there was any interesting questions. Wow, this one's not a very good picture, kind of blurry, at least that beginning tab, so it'll be kind of hard to, maybe it's just taking time to zoom in and to focus, but going to be hard to read what some of these question text, but you can figure it out mostly from the answers. Okay, so let's look for Hebron. Probably already passed it. Yep. Okay, so there's George Hebron, there's Vio, that's her. So here you can see the ages, they were both white, male, female, married. They've been married. This is what grade they would have gone through. So he went to school through the 8th grade. She went through 2 years of college. So, wow, that's very educated. So, let's see what her occupation, if it lists an occupation. Nope, just a farmer. Doesn't have an occupation listed for her. So, once again, you can get that kind of information from these type of census records. And then what's the last one here? Her listed in the entry for George, that's her husband, his death and burial record. Let's just look at that and see if there's no image available. So sometimes there is, sometimes there's not. Now, one other thing I want to bring up. When you click on a record like this, whether there's an image or not, most of the time Family Search will give you a little underneath it, they'll give you a similar historical records, and you sometimes will find things down here that you didn't find up here, because these are things that people have added, and perhaps down here these are just things that Family Search has recommended you look at. So there could very well be different things down here, and I've had that many times where I've looked at a record and it said Census 1910, Census 1920, Census 1940. There was no 1930 census, but when I clicked on 1940, oh, there was a link to the 1930 census there. So easily, it doesn't take a second to go down there and look at that, but that's worthwhile looking at. Another things you can look at if there are memories. Now memories, this one has none, but memories would be maybe pictures, photographs of documents that people have uploaded and attached. to the person in question here. So in this particular case, there are none, but there could very well be some, and that where a nice place where you could potentially get pictures of your person. Collaborate, that's someone has some information and they'd like to work together on finding more information about this person. So you could always collaborate with that person. You can make a discussion, add some notes. If you click on this, then you can find out, you can get this person entered it, so you can click on that and potentially get in contact with that person to collaborate together. Sources we've already looked at. Timeline, once again, gives you all of this information in a timeline that some people like to look at better. That sources information was in somewhat of a timeline, but this one's more of a timeline look, and some people like this better and feel like they can get a better feel for the information by looking at that. So you can always review and attach more information if you want to that. And then details just kind of gives you a life sketch, some vital information taken from records, birth, death, other information, residences, and things like that. Now there's one other area over here that I'd like to talk about is search records. These will take you to links where you can search these websites for the information that you've entered for this person. So you don't even have to leave that, click on this, they'll open in a new tab. Now it's possible and likely that if you don't have an account in one of these, like just clicking on Ancestry, yes, will take you to the Ancestry search website, but if you don't have an Ancestry account, you're not going to get really good information. You'll be able to get some things, a lot of information will be blurred out, and when you try and open it, it will say sign up now. It'll take you to the sign up now page. So in some cases it'll help you. Maybe you have an Ancestry account and you're just using Familysearch, and you click on that, it'll give you a second website in order which to get search information from. So that's good. Maybe these are free as well, and you can click on them and be taken and find more information about your ancestry there. So a lot of information in this thing. And then another thing you can do is you can view the tree, and this will take you to the Familysearch tree. Now, as I said in one of the other videos, and as Familysearch says, they have the largest online tree, world's largest online tree of user entered information. So these are people that other people have entered the relationships between. They all have their individual record numbers that separate them from other people with the same name. So you can see, parents, and then their children, and their children's children, and you can click on any of these people and go to the sources. In this particular case, that Richard Hebron has no sources, no memories, no collaborations. So, but you can click on any of these people, and this one has Ruby has 10 sources. This one has a memory, so let's click on that just to show you what a memory would look like. In this case, the memory looks like it's a picture of the grave marker, which in fact is what it is. So you can see, and then you can zoom in more and see the actual grave marker for this person. Someone has uploaded it, and added it. So thankful to that person for doing that. If this is one of your relatives there, Jerry Rasmussen, thank you for adding that. Added it in 2018. So those are the type of things you can find when you get memories, and sometimes it's pictures of documents, sometimes it's actual photographs of the people. Now, once again, photographs of the people, there's no real, unless you know them, there's no way to confirm that's them. So you'll have to determine whether adding pictures of people based on the fact that someone else says they're that person is okay by you. I don't mind doing it because it doesn't really lead anybody astray, I don't think. Just adding a picture, whereas adding a record or a relationship, I think, might lead somebody astray. So that is searching by Familysearch family tree. And I use this more than I use searching by records. I like the way it gives you the information. It's kind of already pre-filtered, and the records, in the most part, are applicable to the people I'm looking for, and it gives you it in a view that I find helpful in my searches. So if you find them as well, then I certainly encourage you to search by using the family tree search in Familysearch. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, leave a comment. Let me know. If you have any questions, once again, leave a comment. Let me know. And hopefully you can get some more information from your family tree from familysearch.org and using their family tree search function. Thank you for watching the video, and hope you have a great day and able to find more members of your family, the people who made you are what made you what you are. Thank you for watching.